the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no. Stuffing things in Griffin basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants. So Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
In Los Angeles, Thurman sends a fly ball to center field. Varsho's going back before the clock strikes me. Freeman has ended it. It's a repeat hero with the last word on a Game 3 classic.
Yeah, nice, your common 7-hour baseball game. The Dodgers take it. Good for them. They played 2 last night, and the Dodgers won 6-5 in 18 innings. Look, yeah, I'm bummed that the Dodgers won because F the Dodgers. Forever, eternally F the Dodgers. And spare me but Shohei Ohtani did
And
something
Freddie Freeman's such a good guy, though.
no one's ever done before.
Like
He
Freddie
had 2
Freeman
home runs. Yeah, I'm sure he is. 2 home runs and 2 doubles, and he got tagged in the dick on at second base, right? Like no one's ever done that before.
It's on base 9
It's the Dodgers. I don't care. There's no joy in it. That all being said, I get it. It's an extraordinarily memorable baseball game. But it was an extraordinarily memorable baseball game before it went 18 innings. And this is the part that that I don't like being I'm going to yuck your yum. Today, we're all talking about, oh, my God, that was crazy.
It was.
It's not good for baseball. It's bad for baseball. I
don't know. You saw the celebrities that were at that game last night?
Yeah, thank you.
They had to do 2 celebrity whatever things.
I made it. I think I nodded out for a little while somewhere between the 14th and 16th innings.
I fell asleep around midnight, so like the 11th inning, I guess.
I made it past that. I nodded out briefly. I was awake again and saw the home run. I know that I'm in the minority. It's just not. It was effing 3 a.m. And spare me but this is how it's supposed to be. Like, spare me.
Well, I mean, now that guy, the guy for the Dodgers, who we all obviously still remember his name, that pitched so well for those 4 innings.
Klein?
Yeah, Klein. Now he's a dude.
Definitely remember his name.
I do. Yes, I just said it, Klein.
After I said it, yes. This is bad for baseball. It's bad. Like, the novelty of it wears off quickly. Quickly, it wears off. It's nothing more than a abnormality, an anomaly that will be like, oh, right, there was when they brought up the last time a World Series game had gone 15 innings, it was a Friday night a couple years ago, we had all forgotten. Every single one of us. I guess outside of Dodgers fans.
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember that was the Max Muncy one, right? That was.
But you don't remember. You didn't on Tuesday. You only remembered it because it was brought up again. It's not memorable because it went forever. That one, of course, was a Friday night, so it was a little bit more palatable than this was. It's bad for baseball. These things are happening for 4 of us to see.
Well, I've read on the West Coast, I think, saw.
Probably.
I mean, all the Dodgers fans did.
Yes, the Dodgers fans did. And I'm sure most of the Blue Jays fans stayed up. It's bad for baseball.
I mean,
when the moments are happening for no one to watch them. Nobody wants to have the adult conversation about how the other thing is better. The regular season rule is better.
Did you watch the Game 5 of the ALDS, the Detroit-Seattle one? That one, I mean, that would like.
It
that
was also a Friday night, so I was more inclined to
also
watch
Friday
more.
night. It was a game 5. Like that was,
Yes,
it
a
was
deciding
a
game,
winner
sure.
take all game.
These things aren't good.
That Friday night,
No,
the winner take all one
you're-
was insane. Like that
It was insane, and last night was insane. I'm not saying they aren't. There's a difference between the insanity of the game and is it good for the sport? It's not good for the sport.
Is it just because the Dodgers were involved?
No,
It
it's
was
not
two teams
because,
that
it's
had never
because
won a
people
World Series.
can't stay up and watch it. It's because you're trying to cultivate baseball fans and no one can see it.
You did stay up and watch it.
I did because I'm a psychopath. You don't have a life and a family and a thing. You can do whatever you want to do. We're in the minority. It's not good. And nobody wants to say that because we're supposed to my God, this is the most memorable thing that ever happened. We're not going to remember those details. They will all be forgotten within moments. For anyone but the hardest of the hardcore. But cultivating baseball fans, you had an incredible, captivating, thrilling game that required no extra innings for it to have been an incredible, captivated, thrilling game. This is a baseball problem. And that for as much as we dunk on Rob Manfred and says he doesn't like baseball, the reality is he's doing things to benefit baseball. This was an anomaly. This was a game unlike anything we had ever seen before. But just because it's long doesn't make it more memorable. It was a classic for 9 innings. Then it became an absurdity. It became kind of a sideshow. It still had obviously some, like what the hell they were thinking, sending Schneider around third base when he was going to be out by 100 feet. He was as equally likely to perish coming around third base as he was to score on that play. Holy crap. And it's not like Vladimir Guerrero was due up next. Look, man, if you're a Dodgers fan, it's the greatest thing you ever saw. If you're a Blue Jays fan, it's the most heart-wrenching thing you ever saw. If you're a baseball fan, you're going to say today, my God, this is what makes baseball different than any other sport. But what you don't realize is that's part of the reason why baseball has struggled.
I mean, if everyone's talking about it, I mean,
they're talking about the absurdity of it. The game was great before it was absurd. It was incredible. Everyone would be talking about that game if they had ended in 10 innings. Because it was awesome. It just became absurd after that. And effed up pitching and makes the whole thing kind of wonky. Look, man, I get it. I'm the guy. I hate baseball because you've done it for this way, and this is the way it's supposed to be, and this is the way your granddad did it, and the whole thing. But this is example number 6 billion of why the regular season rule should come to the postseason. And if the answer is, like, maybe after the 12th inning, fine, maybe after the 12th inning. But playing baseball games until 3 in the morning helps no one. It is detrimental. And if you want to make it after the 12th inning, start the games at 7. But asking the majority of the country to not see the memorable moments. And I get it. The argument is, well, Twitter exists now. Yes, but nobody can feel that. You can see it, but you can't feel that the next day on Twitter. And I get that it's difficult. Kids are never going to be able to watch the World Series again. Like, they'll never see the end of a World Series game. And that's part of the problem. The baseball, they've traded off what the networks want for what's good. The game should always start at 7 o'clock, period. In hopes of, like, kids being able to watch the end of it. Because you're trying to cultivate younger fans and newer fans and create moments.
that part I can definitely agree with.
It's bad. It's weird. And again, for anybody in their 20s or psychopath, it's like it's the sickos committee stuff. Like, yes. But for baseball, it's bad. This stuff shouldn't be happening when no one can see it. That said, the Dodgers won. Bully for them. F them. I love LA is campy. I don't know what else I have to say about it. It sucks.
Jeez.
I'm never going to feel good for this. I'm never going to do it.
I guess
I'm
that's
never going to feel good for the
playing
Dodgers.
that.
Yeah. F it. We got a lot to do on a. Now I'm an old man yelling at a cloud. Got a lot to do on a Tuesday edition of the program. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we're going to be we'll be talking more about the Orioles' new manager, Craig Albernaz. Curt Casali, former MLB catcher, was with him both in the Rays system, first as a teammate, and then I believe he coached him in the Rays system with the Durham Bulls. Then he also coached him with the Giants. So we're going to get some thoughts from someone who knows him very well, Curt Casali, about the Orioles' new manager. It's Tuesday, so PressBox Ravens beat writer Bo Smolka will join us, and we will also preview Waiver-Wire Wednesday with our guy, Joe Serpico. Marathon postseason game. John Little Rock. Marathon postseason games are rare. They should play day games. I hate to say it, but complaining it's so late on the East Coast or Central Time is a bias and a first world problem.
Everyone lives on the East Coast.
You can say that, and to some extent you can be right, but it's also still a problem they have to deal with. They have to deal with that. Again, I get the trade-off. You're saying you want the game to start at 8. By the way, they don't care about that 1 round earlier. 1 round earlier, they're happy to start the games at 5 o'clock Eastern time. 1 round earlier, the games can start then. In the World Series, they can't because of the West Coast. But 1 round earlier, no problem. 7 o'clock. Start the game at 7 o'clock and have a mechanism in place that makes it very unlikely the game is going to go 18 innings. And don't apologize for that. It exists that way in every other sport. In basketball, they don't say we're going to play another full game. We're going to play 5 minutes. In football, we're going to play one team can score, the other team can score, and then it's sudden death from that.
Well, we had
it's
that
fair.
one Big East tournament
7
game.
overtimes.
Yeah,
yes.
and then they did play 2 games. So.
Essentially, they did. All right, let's switch baseball conversations. Let's talk about the new manager of the Baltimore Orioles. Of course, that's Craig Albernaz, and it was made official after our show ended yesterday, or maybe during the show yesterday. It was made official by the Baltimore Orioles that he would be the next manager of the team. So we've been trying to get to know a little bit more about Craig Albernaz, and our next guest was with him both in the Tampa Bay Rays system and then with him in San Francisco in various capacities. It's a pleasure. Really appreciate Curt Casali, former MLB catcher, taking the time for us this morning. Curt, it's Glenn here in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Oh, of course. Thanks for having me on.
Curt, can you take me back? Because I'm trying to make sure I understand how your time frames line up. Were you guys teammates at any stops in Tampa, or were you not with him until he had gotten out of playing and into coaching?
So when I first got traded to Tampa in spring of 2013, he was in big league camp with Tampa, and I just remember that they always, anytime that the catchers would throw to bases, that everybody, even the minor league catchers would go over, and because they knew that Albie was going to be throwing to bases, and he had an absolute bazooka.
Wow.
So he had this kind of this arm strength lore from the very start of the time that I passed with him. I never got to play with him because he was in AAA, and I think I was going into High A that season. But it was Albie and I think Stephen Vogt were the 2 catchers for Durham that year. So kind of funny how they were teammates there. They ended up coaching together in Cleveland, and now here they are again.
Curt, it's funny because we've heard stories that Joe Madden would tell people that's a manager. He's going to be a manager at some point. Did you either, again, just being around him there, or when he was ultimately on the staff in Durham and you were there, did you know the same way, this guy, there's something about him that's a future manager?
Yeah, he just had this way about him that he can get along with anybody. He can motivate anybody. my personal hype man for the entire time that he was coaching me, whether it was in Durham or if it was in San Francisco. I think the last year he was in SF, I think they had to bring him into the dugout because they just knew, how valuable he was. They couldn't have him in the bullpen anymore, and they just needed him to be around the action. I mean, you saw, what he did there. We had a great team in 2021. He's been a complimentary part of those Cleveland teams that have made the postseason the past couple years. And I truly cannot think of a better person that I've met in my baseball life. And I've met a lot of people. I was around for a long time, and Craig jumps to the top of the list in terms of just the human being that he is, the friend that he is. And I think it's going to translate really well to leading a bunch of young guys over there in Baltimore. They got a good crew, got a good core, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he can do for him.
You mentioned them moving him into the dugout in San Francisco. Can you explain what that impact is? Because I think a lot of people kind of assume that, like, coaches, your roles are mostly during spring training, and maybe. But can you explain in a game circumstance what it is that Craig brought to the team and what he was seeing and how he could impact during games?
Yeah, not to take anything away from being a bullpen coach, but it just being out there, you're kind of on an island, and you're not really in tune with the overall decisions. Obviously, the pitching decisions, you're on the phone and helping the relievers get there. But we wanted him as a guy in the dugout that can help the catchers, that can impact the game by his eyes. I mean, he wasn't directly next to Kapler or Kai Correa, but he was probably next in line, and in my opinion. And he's I think he would tell you he probably spent more time on the bench during his playing career than he did on the field, and that kind of gives you a unique perspective on the game. It almost kind of makes you flip your mind to more of the managing style of baseball than necessarily the playing style, if that makes sense. But you just need to get this guy around as many people as you possibly can, because it doesn't take more than a conversation for him to be able to impact the way you feel, give you a piece of his mind, a piece of his knowledge, and he's got a lot of it because he's been around a lot. And if you're going to be around and not particularly effective on the field, not saying he wasn't a good baseball player, because he definitely was, but he could, I think, from an early age, they realized that he was going to be more impactful in a dugout, and he truly did. I mean, I can't tell you how proud I am of him to get this job, because he really deserves it, and Baltimore is in for an absolute treat and an absolute beauty of a man.
That's cool. Curt Casali is with us, former MLB catcher, obviously knows Craig Albernaz quite well. Curt, a couple things. We had heard from some folks in Cleveland specifically about what he had done for the catchers and how he really changed Bo Naylor as a defensive catcher, right? Adley Rutschman has gone through some struggles, and I know he's still Adley Rutschman, and I hope that that's going to get figured out. But how much of an impact, both for Adley Rutschman and Samuel Basallo, who the Orioles gave an extension to already, how much of an impact do you believe that Craig Albernaz can have on those two guys?
I think you'll have a great impact. I think anytime you have a former catcher that's able to manage, it kind of creates an even closer bridge between that and the current catchers, and sometimes that bridge is a little bit longer. But I think if you have somebody like Craig, who's going to be managing the team, helping and constantly communicating with the players who manage the actual playing of the game, which is the catchers, it's only going to be a benefit for everybody. I mean, obviously Adley is Adley. I didn't really follow the Orioles this past year. I'm sorry, guys.
No, I understand. Yeah, right. Why would you?
But like I know Adley's talent. I know the other guy's ability with his bat, and I think just I'm extremely biased because I was a catcher, but I think that having a catcher at the helm is a positive thing, and and the current catchers are only going to benefit from that. He's going to be their ultimate hype man. I could tell you that. But Adley is probably not going to have as much confidence as he ever has coming into this season, just because of the guy that Craig is, and because of the freedom he's going to allow him, and the empowerment that he's going to give him going into this season. And I would expect a big year for Mr. Rutschman.
Curt, you mentioned obviously the young talent here in Baltimore. It's an awkward spot. I think a lot of people were wondering if the Orioles needed to go with a veteran manager because they kind of need to hit the ground running, right? That's the reason why the job's available, is because they weren't living up to the expectations. Do you feel like Craig is the type of manager that doesn't need any time to learn on the job, that like he can hit the ground running and demand respect on day one?
Yeah, I think all you have to do is listen to him speak. I mean, I don't know if you guys have talked to him yet, but
not yet.
His accent is intoxicating.
We have heard that. Yeah.
Just wait. I don't even know what type of accent it is, but it's something in the Northeast. Yeah. It's something thick, and you can't help but listen to him and just want to be around him. You know, whether he hits the ground running or not, or whether there's some learning curves, I don't know. There's probably a little bit of both that's possible. It's really tough to say how it's going to start. I mean, a lot of it depends on, you know, how the players play. I mean, that's first and foremost. They need to perform, and it's the manager's job to, you know, put them in the best position to succeed. But I think from the get-go in spring training, I think he's gonna demand their respect, not because he's gonna say that outwardly. I think they're just gonna give it to him because that's just what type of person he is. You talk to him, you can get behind him, you can rally a group better than most, and you know, it'll be fun to see. Whether, to answer your question, I don't know. I couldn't possibly give you know, that type of prediction, but I have as much confidence in Craig as a person to be able to lead any group of team. You know, he can go into, you know, business or whatever, and I bet, you know, he could rally the troops. And at the end of the day, it's kind of getting your players to believe in themselves, believe in the cause, believe in the jersey, believe in the city that they have, you know, strapped across their chest, and to get them to show up every single day. Baseball's a long sport. It's a marathon. It's a sprint. And everybody knows that, and it's up to the manager to be able to, you know, obviously manage the game, but first and foremost to motivate his players and get the most out of them every time they strap it up.
Curt, we know that baseball has changed, right? And the role of a manager has changed in modern baseball. And frankly, the power structure between a front office, and I know that you were tied to a managerial open in San Francisco this year. I just wonder what you make of, like, we have this theory that we still need a manager that has the ability, the personality to push back and to say, hey, I want all of the data, but sometimes I do want to go with my gut. Knowing Craig the way that you do you feel like he's that type that I am going to work with you because that's the way that baseball goes, but there are going to be times where I'm going to stick my neck out and say, but I think we need to do it this way?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of the relationship you have with the president of baseball ops or the general manager, whichever organization you're in. But I think the thing that will be beneficial for Craig is he's able to communicate with people, and he's able to not, like, he doesn't alienate people. He won't blast the front office for making a whatever move or saying there's not continuity between the two. He will ensure there's continuity, and then when the two sides are speaking the same language and they're talking every single day, then you both can get behind whatever decision he puts out there, because as long as you have a reason for it, then it's the right choice. I mean, it might not work in the end. It might, you might pinch it for somebody, but and they punch out. But at the end of the day, did you have a reason for that? Was it a good reason? Would you do it again? And you kind of go from there. But in terms of how he's going to have a relationship with the front office, I'm not sure. I can't imagine him having a bad relationship with anybody, and I can't imagine any team that would hire him that wouldn't give him the benefit of the doubt to say, hey, at the end of the day, it's your call. We might help you, with write a lineup up or go over scenarios pregame and figure out what our best pockets are, best matchups up when the game is tight. But at the end of the day, you're hiring Craig because you trust in his ability to manage a team. You trust his baseball instinct. You trust his instincts of being able to help a team win a game. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what it looks like as long as you get the W. That's all that matters.
There's no doubt about that. That's the story of everything: is do you win? And hopefully,
yeah,
that's
winning takes care of everything.
There is no question that is true. I know you've got a gig, right? Like in Cincinnati. So it's not likely that we're going to be seeing you join them, is it?
Well, I don't know if I'm prepared to talk about that
okay.
yet. I am. I'm interested in getting back into baseball. I took a year off. I worked with Cincinnati last year on a part-time basis. I dipped my toe in different areas of the organization to try and try and see if I can provide any value that I possibly can. But from the moment that I got traded to Cincinnati, I had kind of a great relationship with Nick Kroll, the president of baseball operations in Cincinnati, and I said whenever my playing days were over, he would be my first call. So I did. He definitely threw me a bone and helped me get the lay of the land and open the doors of the organization back to me. But in terms of going forward, I'm not really sure. Well, okay. I hope it's in Cincinnati and we can go from there. And I can I can help the Reds get get over the hump and win some playoff games next year.
Well, and if not, then we hope it's in Baltimore. But
okay, all right. Thank you.
Curt, really appreciate you doing this and giving us some insight into your friend and what it is that we're going to get here in Baltimore. Thank you for spending the time with us, man. We really appreciate it.
Anytime. Enjoy Albie. He's an all-timer, and everybody in Baltimore is going to love him.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much, Curt. Curt Casali, former MLB catcher, and of course someone we've been trying to. It's difficult because, as we talked about, we did not know that Craig Albernaz was in play to be the Orioles manager. So we've sort of been scrambling to try to get to know more about him. And it's weird because I said yesterday, like, that once upon a time you weren't supposed to do this stuff during the World Series. I don't know if that means the Orioles can't introduce him until the World Series is over. Like, if that's hey, you can make your hiring, but you can't. I don't know what the rules are now and what baseball wants. So I don't know when that's going to be that we will meet Craig Albernaz and he'll do a press conference. But in the meantime, we'll be looking forward to trying to find out a little bit more about him and appreciate Curt Casali taking the time for us this morning. Today's show is brought to you by Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, Frederick, and Columbia. Man of a certain age, you're struggling. Normally, when I would play Sunday night tennis, and we played this week, I would wake up on Monday and I would feel like death. I would just feel sore as hell. I thought it might be because I was low T. Turns out, not low T, but I'm still feeling sluggish and run down and struggling, and so they got me on peptide proteins, and that has been a game changer for me. We played a few hours of tennis on Sunday night. I woke up yesterday, and I felt fine. I mean, really, just felt fine.
Hey, Bo, good morning.
You might be dealing with performance issues in the bedroom, with stubborn belly fat that just won't come off, despite the fact that you feel like you move around, you live a fairly healthy lifestyle. Give them a call. Game Day Men's Health, Owings Mills, 443-264-4454. In Columbia, 443-266-3505. And in Frederick, 240-931-3717. John Harbaugh met with the media yesterday. He provided this update regarding quarterback Lamar Jackson.
I feel very confident. Feel very confident about it, and would expect him to be out there Thursday night.
Well, what does that mean? Because I don't know what we make of anything that's being said about Lamar Jackson, given how the last couple of weeks have gone. Joining us now, he is our PressBox Ravens beat writer. He's our friend Bo Smolka. Bo, what do we make of anything that John Harbaugh says about Lamar Jackson at this point?
Well, it's fair to question it. I personally think we will see him on Thursday. Today, we'll see if there was some talk that he might be at the podium this afternoon. I'm not sure about that yet, but if he is, that's a really good sign that he would be. But I'll be honest with you, I was never sold on that he was playing this past weekend. And I know he was listed as full on Friday, and there was a whole injury snafu, but just told me that he wasn't necessarily going to be there. And, and I think the Ravens, I think there was some gamesmanship there. They made sure that their website put out like 3 or 4 pictures of him making throws on Wednesday, and those were like the only 3 or 4 throws he took. And so they clearly wanted the narrative out there that he was coming back. I didn't expect him to be back, quite honestly, but I did expect him to be back this week. I think Lamar Jackson has been aiming toward this. I think it's going to be hard to keep him out of a game at Miami. He's a South Florida guy, wants to be there, and I think in his mind he's been aiming to come back now. He hasn't told me that. No one's told me that, but that's kind of the gut feeling I had. And yesterday was just a walkthrough. We weren't able to see any of it. And so John Harbaugh said he was listed as full yesterday, and we now know what that means. It means he was actually working with the first team to the extent that they were doing anything, and it wasn't a full team with the scout team. So that's another sign of progress toward him playing on Thursday.
To your point, after what happened this weekend, you would think the Ravens wouldn't be trying to pull any shenanigans with that, and it would be legitimate. But I guess the next question is, if Lamar Jackson plays, is this enough time that you believe you're getting the full Lamar Jackson back, or is that still something that we're monitoring on Thursday night?
You probably still have to monitor with a hamstring injury, especially the way he plays. I'm not sure. We have no real gauge of if he's a full Lamar Jackson or not. And a hamstring can be a tricky thing, but I do think this, he'll be more rested than anyone else on that field for both teams.
For sure.
The fact that they're all playing on a short week, and he's one guy that's not playing on a short week because he didn't play Sunday. But I don't know if he'll be fully back or if we'll see the full Lamar Jackson, and it'll probably take some play in seeing how he's running and how he's moving to even get a sense of that. So I'm not sure he'll be full, but I do think he'll be there.
Bo, we obviously in the meantime, the Ravens essentially saved their season. That's the good news about this, is you didn't have Lamar Jackson, but you managed to save the season anyway on Sunday. I think a couple of things that I'm trying to figure out. It's not like the pressure was consistent or brilliant, but they did both get a big sack and 2 intentional groundings that to me are sacks, right? Like they were both caused because of the pressure. I feel like they should count. Is there reason to believe that something has changed, the worm has turned, or is that something that you say, hey, it's one game, maybe we don't overreact to it just yet, they still need to prove that something has changed?
Well, I mean, one of the intentional groundings came from Kyle Hamilton on a slot blitz, and you'll see that has changed. We'll see more of that now that they have Gilman playing in the back, and they've traded for him so that they could play Hamilton more in the slot. And the other intentional grounding came from Humphrey blitzing off the slot. And the way they were playing all their, they played dime a lot. They had 6 defense backs on the field a lot, so they could choose to blitz either Humphrey or Hamilton, and they had to worry about which one was coming. And I do think we'll see more of that. So to that extent, I think something has changed. I think that will be a bigger part of what they're doing going forward. And then Mike Green got that big sack in the first quarter, the first one of his career. It came on 3rd down. It was actually a huge play in the game. And, they've been waiting for that from him, and I think we'll see more of that from him. He only stands to get better. It's still a very thin outside linebacker group. They only have 3 people in uniform. So, they use Trenton Simpson a little bit out there in spots, but it's encouraging to see Green get his first sack, and I do think we'll see more of that. But as for the intentional groundings, I definitely think we'll see more of that pressure coming off the edge with the slot guys.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. That was the purpose of them trading for Alohi Gilman. They need to do this. That it's going to help them make up for it. I still think they need more. I guess John Harbaugh say I don't think Carl Lawson can solve their problems, but to your point, it would be one more body. Based on what we heard from John Harbaugh, do you think we're going to see him on Thursday night?
I mean, he made it sound like we would, which would be interesting. He's only been here, a week and a half, or even by the time they play that game. And, he's not a guy that's been playing for another team like Alohi Gilman was, who came right over after starting 5 games. So they talk about ramp-up period and stuff, but maybe he's in there for 8 to 10 snaps on specific pass-down situations, and they try to get him in here. I guess it wouldn't surprise me to see him out there on a limited basis just because, as you said, there's just not a lot of other options. And if they can get him up there, then, just, again, limited doses, get him in there for a few snaps here and there. Maybe they try to do it. He's obviously still got ramping up to do, I would think, having not been on a team this for, pretty much the whole season. But, yeah, I think I wouldn't surprise me if he's activated and used in limited doses.
Bo Smolka with us here on GCR. Bo, to me, the story of the game Sunday, the best player on the field was Roquan Smith, and I get that it's been up and down for Roquan Smith, and then, he looked brilliant against the Browns and didn't look brilliant the week before that or the week after that. But I do still think it might have been a reminder of how different this team is when Roquan Smith is healthy and playing good football.
Well, I'd say the story of the player of the game was Tyler Huntley myself, but to your point about Roquan Smith, yeah, and I do think it's a big drop-off when he's not there, and then they have to lean on Teddy Buchanan and Trenton Simpson in the middle of that defense. And, yeah, it's stabilizing. He was very active. I know he had a little extra juice playing against the Bears, but, yeah, it's a different defense when he's out there. And I know he's been uneven at times, but absolutely. It's a better defense. It's a more consistent defense, and he did have a really, really good game. So assuming he's healthy, and again, another guy coming off a hamstring injury, but he said last week he was ready to go. So to whatever extent his seemed a little less serious than Jackson's, by Monday he was already fired up for that game. He looked the part, obviously, and it totally changes the middle of their defense when he's there.
The impact of Pat Ricard's return, that also felt quite real to me on Sunday.
Well, I've said all along I thought they miss him more than they're letting on, and I asked John Harbaugh a couple of times about that, and he kind of downplayed it, but I think he wasn't trying to say anything negative about Zaire Mitchell-Payton or anyone else trying to fill in. But Patrick Ricard he's just a huge part of what they want to do on offense, and he wasn't involved in a ton of plays, but two that stand out to me are, one, there was a 3rd and 1 they ran with Henry, right up the middle, and Patrick Ricard, I forget the linebacker, he basically knocked him into next week.
Yeah.
And Derrick Henry got the first down. And then the other one on the Charlie Kolar touchdown, if you watch that play again, Ricard is in the game on the right side, Henry's on the right side, Kolar's on the right side. Everything about that play looks like it's going right, and I guarantee you the Bears saw Ricard lined up where he was, and they stacked it on that side. And then Kolar leaks out to the left, and Huntley stops and throws, and there's not a Bear within 10 yards of Kolar. It was a beautifully designed play. But, again, that's what you also get with Patrick Ricard. I mean, they changed. The Bears absolutely changed the way they lined up on that play because Ricard was back there. And I'm still convinced that if Patrick Ricard's in the game, they're scoring on that goal line situation against the Rams and some of these other short yardage. So he only played, I think, 14 snaps against this past weekend, but yeah, a major addition, and I think they really missed him more than they've let on.
Yeah, I got that sense. We heard praise. I'll never understand why Keaton Mitchell wasn't more involved to begin with, and I get the conversation about roster spots and special teams. I know all of that matters, but it is really hard to watch what happens when Keaton Mitchell gets the football and not think to yourself, how do you not figure out a way to have him more involved? It just seems like he is such a weapon. And I know, to speak of limited snaps, it was 4 touches, and yet he had a massive impact on that football game.
Yeah, I found it interesting that he was also getting touches late in the game in the fourth quarter, and that's an interesting concept too. If you're going to bring him in late with other tired legs on defense, and now this catback comes in and can be damaging on fresh legs. That's an interesting concept. It was also interesting to hear John say, they made the decision during the bye week. We have to get him involved, and it's one of those things. And yeah, I mean, you can criticize and say, well, why didn't that happen earlier? I mean, people have been clamoring it for 2 months, And there was times, I'll say, when we saw him do kick returns early in the year when he finally got involved, the burst didn't quite look there, but he looked the part for sure. And it looks like when they talk about during the bye week, we self-scout, we self-evaluate, we do everything. And it does. It feels like Harbaugh and Monken just sat down and said, wait a minute, we got to get Keaton Mitchell involved. I mean, with our running game, when things are going on, We're not having that much success running between the tackles with our offensive line the way it is right now. We need to stretch this field. How are we going to stretch this field? We're going to get Keaton Mitchell involved. And I think he showed that. And it's the kind of thing he can definitely do well because he can win to the edge. And so, yeah, it was good to see, and it'll be a benefit going forward if they can bring that again.
Bo, you brought up Tyler Huntley, and I'm not trying to be dismissive at all because I think Tyler Huntley was really good and everything the Ravens needed. I also think he was a better version than what we had seen in the past of Tyler Huntley. I still think he's limited as far as his arm ability goes, but he definitely seemed to tighten up the motion, and the throws came out quicker, and in that way, to me, he was a true difference maker on Sunday. I'm in this weird place where, like, I want to praise him. I also would say, like, if for some reason he had to play again, I still don't know that I would feel good about where the Ravens would be. I just think that there's a nature of, God bless you, this is what a backup quarterback needs to be. That's what you did. I hope he doesn't have to go back out there anytime soon.
Totally fair. But that's exactly it. That's what a backup quarterback needs to be, and it's what Cooper Rush was not, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. If your Lamar Jackson goes down, you have to have somebody that can be the bridge and win a game for you. And Cooper Rush couldn't do it, and Tyler Huntley did. And I agree with you. He was the better version of Tyler Huntley than we have seen in the past. Tyler Huntley had kind of a herky-jerky motion, and I always thought he had nervous feet. And if the play wasn't there right away, he was kind of bailing to try to, and he just looked more composed. And, the throws were coming out quick. I think the game plan worked to his favor. He did take that one deep shot that he just overthrew Zay Flowers, I think, but he was on the money fairly deep to Bateman. He had the big third down pass to DeAndre Hopkins that kept, in one of the final drives of the game. I thought he threw with poise and with purpose, and more so than maybe he had before. So it's got to be a huge confidence thing for him. I agree with you. If they were to suddenly turn around in 3 weeks and say Lamar Jackson's going to miss 2 more games, I don't think anyone's going to be happy or excited and say, oh, that's fine, we have Huntley. Because he has to be his best self for them to win. And he was. To his credit, he was. It was the highest quarterback rating he's ever had as a starter. And they needed that. I mean, he literally saved their season. So good for him. And I have to think if they do have to go to him again, he's got to be coming from a point of confidence. And I think the players have confidence in him. And I think that also matters.
Yeah. A lot of people asking again, why wasn't he the guy from the get-go? And I think they felt like they needed better than Tyler Huntley. And I think reasonably so they felt they needed better than Tyler Huntley. I think most of us felt like they needed better than Tyler Huntley. And they tried. And ultimately the guy they tried proved he was not better than Tyler Huntley. I think this one's one where there's some revisionist stuff going on that I think every single one of us felt the exact same way. Like, the nice young man, but I think we all felt like this franchise needed better at the backup quarterback position than Tyler Huntley. It's just that the guy they swung on, as it turns out, was a miss.
Yeah, he was a miss. And I think going forward, like I said, they would need the best Tyler Huntley, but you're right. I mean, they thought Cooper Rush was going to be a better Tyler Huntley, and he just wasn't, and he hasn't been, and he probably won't be, because I think if they have to go to a backup again, it has to be Huntley again.
Yes.
It can't be Cooper Rush again over Huntley. And their goal is that they don't have to bother with this anymore, and this is the storm they've weathered, and they're past it. But we don't know that, especially with a hamstring injury, and we just don't know that. But as I said, if they do have to go to a backup quarterback again, I know they'll feel better about going to Huntley. They'll still be nervous. There'll be some nerves and worry, which there should be, but they have to feel better that he just gave them a better chance to win than Cooper Rush did. That's all there is to it. And Eric DeCosta should probably just come out and acknowledge, we thought Cooper Rush was the answer. He wasn't. That was a whiff, and we just look forward from here. And that's Huntley if they need him.
Just last one for you, Bo, because I apologize. I haven't been able to go through the 2 press conferences. Has John said anything about the decision to not kick from the 39-yard line? Obviously, it worked out, right? Like, you got the Nate Wiggins interception, biggest play of the season so far. But one of the things that we were talking about after the game was, I think Tyler Loop is a kicker, but, even the kicks he made on Sunday were really shaky looking. And one that damn near, I think the 42-yarder was the one that nearly leaked out. And at some point, you might need to make a big kick from 55 yards out. It sort of seems interesting to me that wasn't something they were willing to do. I get in the game circumstance, your defense have been playing well, but I'm just not sure how I feel about Tyler Loop just yet, and them not being willing to try it was interesting to me.
Yeah, he was asked about it. I can't recall the answer now, but I know they being 4th and 5, it kind of they definitely tried to draw them offside.
Right.
That was the first thing. They should get up there. We're going to try to draw them offside on 4th and 5, and then I'll have to go back and read his answer again. He was definitely asked about it. I know he remembers. He mentioned they were trying to draw them offside. If that didn't happen, it felt like the field position thing would have been the answer, and they executed that to your point. And Jordan Stout did a great job, and Tyler Wallace caught it like he was a punt returner at the 3 or whatever. And then Wiggins gets the big interception. And good for Wiggins, right? Because they were picking on him big time in the first quarter. It was obvious they were going to go after Wiggins, and they did. And he gave up, I think, 4 or 5 catches, and he got hit for penalty. And they were just going at him. And then in that deep in Bears territory after that punt, they went after him again, and he was able to step in front of the pass and get the interception. And that really that completely flipped the game because the Ravens had just punted. The Bears have the ball down 3. They were down 10 or 6, whatever it was. And they're like, oh, boy, here we go again. Here comes another fourth quarter lead going away.
Yep.
And then Wiggins gets the interception. So good for him. They needed a play. The defense has talked for weeks about needing to get takeaways. They haven't got enough of them. But it was all started by the punt, and the punt was executed well. Harbaugh had said they tried to get the delay of game, and when they didn't get it, they decided to punt it.
By the way, I did just look up as you were talking the transcript, and the answer never even addressed the idea of kicking. Like the answer was just about whether or not they were going to go for it or punt. So again, it worked out, and I don't even know that it was the wrong decision. Even if I get where they were coming from, it's just more to me that I feel like you still have this. If on Thursday night Tyler Loop's got to line up for a 57-yarder to win the game, I have no idea how I feel about it.
Well, it's true. Those, from where I was sitting in the press box, two of those looked like they were barely good.
Yeah.
One of them, I wasn't even sure.
The 42-yarder,
he used every bit of the width of that goalpost. And I don't think we won't hear from Chris Horton. I don't know if we'll see Loop in the locker room today, but we won't hear from Chris Horton. But it was interesting because like I said, he used every bit of that width of the goalpost to make those. And it would have been a long kick, and, it's 3 points if he makes it. If he doesn't, suddenly the Bears have really good field position. And in the end, they didn't. They got pinned in deep, and the Ravens made the big game-changing play. So I understand your point, but in this case, it worked out for them.
You look. Whenever you get the decision right, that's the answer. The result is how you determine that. Bo, today's the only other day we're going to hear from the Ravens before Thursday, correct?
Yep, there's nothing tomorrow. That's correct. And then they go to Miami tomorrow. Yeah, so this is it.
At B Smolka, of course, is how you follow him. PressBoxOnline.com is where you see all of his stuff. Bo Smolka, always appreciate you, bud. We will talk to you again next Tuesday.
All right, then. Thanks. Take care.
It's PressBox Ravens beat writer Bo Smolka with us here on GCR. Yeah, it's a weird way that I bring up the Tyler Loop thing because, again, it's not really me saying that I think it was the wrong decision. In the moment, we talked about it in the postgame. Griffin didn't like that Derrick Henry wasn't on the field. I thought that because you absolutely were not going for it, you had to have Derrick Henry off the field because you're never going to run the ball on 4th and 5 up the middle. And if Derrick Henry's on the field, then immediately the other team looks over and says, oh, well, all right. Like, they're not going for it.
It was already unlikely they were. I don't know. It felt like there was.
4th and 5 is absolutely a place where a team would think about going for it. I think the argument would be like if Lamar Jackson was on the field, then you'd say there's a much more.
Right. So put your most fear of God, playmaker on the field.
But that's
out there.
But you're immediately negating. You're not. It would be insane to hand the ball off to Derrick Henry in a 4th and 5 spot.
Well,
it would be
don't.
nuts.
Yeah. Well, don't hand it off to Derrick Henry.
I understand, but that's what
do something with Derrick Henry.
You don't need to announce to the other team we're not doing anything with their Immediately you see Derrick Henry in the backfield. The immediate thought is, well, they're not giving it to him here. Like, they're not doing anything. But it's bigger than that for me. I think ultimately it's easy to defend the decision because the defense was playing well. It's far different if the defense isn't playing. If the defense isn't playing well, you better get points. And so you can debate whether or not you should be kicking or whether you should be going for it. it's weird how in the NFL a 56-yarder just sort of feels like for anybody that's an easy make. I think the issue that we're having is what is it for the Ravens at this point? And I don't know. I don't know what Tyler Loop is as a kicker. It's one of those things that we talked about before the season. We thought everything else was going to go well, and then nothing went well. So then we were like, oh, right, I forgot about the Tyler Loop part of the conversation. We'll come back in. We'll preview Waiver-Wire Wednesday. Joe Serpico will join us. CountySports.zone is where you find everything you need to know about high school sports here in the state of Maryland. Scores, schedules, rankings, winter sports season just around the corner, and playoff season in high school football coming up. Find out everything you need to know at CountySports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now. On the cover, Don Marcus profiles new Maryland Athletic Director Jim Smith, breaking down the challenge he faces in his new role and the unique background he brings to the job. Also inside, Brandon Schwartzberg takes an in-depth look at Orioles outfielder Dylan Beavers. And we meet college basketball players from all the programs around the state before the season gets underway. PressBox is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region. And starting this month, you can find us at Baltimore area High's Dairy Store locations. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Game day hits different with Live Casino's Big Plays, Big Pays hot seats. Head to Sports and Social on select Sundays and Mondays in October. We'll draw 10 hot seat winners every hour. When the home team scores, we'll double the prize pool. Plus, we'll give away $50 Sports and Social gift cards with every touchdown. Watch and win at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
Project Game Day is back on Thursday night following Ravens Dolphins. Late night show for you. Come hang out with myself, Rita, KZ. I am told Andrew Stetka intends to return. We'll see.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, we'll see. And, of course, former Ravens linebacker Tyus Bowser with you all season long for Project Game Day. Immediately following every game, PressBoxOnline.com/gameday. Come hang out with us there. Looking forward to having you with us for Project Game Day. This Thursday night, it's all brought to you by Game Day Men's Health, as well as Live Casino and Hotel, the Costas Inn, 1-800-GAMBLER, and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. Let's preview Waiver-Wire Wednesday. Joining us now here on GCR, PressBox Fantasy Football Analyst, our buddy, Mr. Joe Serpico. Joe, what's going on, man? How are you?
Doing well, guys. I was just thinking about it. It's kind of crazy. We're already entering week 9. We're like about 6 or 7 weeks of regular season.
Joe, it hit me over the weekend. I had that moment where I said to myself, son of a bitch, we're halfway there. I am an existential dread type, and football season is the best part of the year. And so that moment was not pleasant for me. It just was not pleasant whatsoever. All right, let's get into it. Terrible news, not just for fantasy football, but really for all of football and for America. I don't care. I'm not a New York Giants fan at all, but there is nothing not to love about Cam Scatterbo. This sucks, bro. This just sucks. I guess I assume Tyrone Tracy was widely owned to begin the season, so I don't know how available he is. If he is, you got to be throwing a whole lot after him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Even as an Eagles fan, that was hard to watch just because it gave Giants life. That's been a team the past couple of years. Let's just face it, they've been pretty non-existent on offense. But, yeah, with that injury to Scatterbo, it makes now that Tyrone Tracy is the priority pickup this week, and you're probably right there too. Probably your 10-team leagues, maybe some 12-team leagues, he was dropped. But let's say in deeper leagues like, our PressBox league, I would be surprised if he's available. But if he is, he's one of those guys where you want to be aggressive with him. I'm willing to spend probably 50% of my fab to grab him just because based on last season's usage between weeks 5 and 17 last year, he was RB14. So he was productive when he got the opportunities last year. We know that he has he was a former wide receiver in college, so he's definitely going to be a factor in passing down. He still kind of was getting a little bit of usage that way. But now with Scatterbo out of the picture, he becomes the guy in New York. And again, if you need running back help, well, let's face it, we all can use some of that any time of the year. I'm being aggressive to add him because we might not find guys that can put up these kind of numbers the rest of the way.
For the record, this is a wild one. I don't know how many leagues have this problem, but last Thursday, and I've told you about this league before, we have a very short bench. Aaron Jones was not owned, had been released at some point. So he's sitting there available, and I'm thinking to myself, I feel this is a league where I have Jahmyr Gibbs, but then my running back picture is Woody Marks and Bill, and so who effing knows? Should I be throwing a bunch at Aaron Jones?
Yeah, just because, I was going to get to Bill at some point. What a disappointment he's been since he had that good game a couple weeks ago.
Thanks
it's been rather...
not like I threw, a third of my fab at him.
Hey, trust me, I'm one of those, I drafted him early on thinking that he was going to be somebody who was going to be a factor all year long. When the injury happened to Eckler, I don't want to say I was happy for it. You never root for injuries, but your thinking was, okay, this was a solid investment. And other than that, it really has not been. So, no, in that case there, yeah, I'm absolutely throwing some money at Aaron Jones. I actually listed today that Jordan Mason is probably somebody that I'm putting maybe on the bench because of Aaron Jones is back. Probably could be a 50-50 split, but Aaron Jones is the better player when it comes to passing down. So, yeah, if Aaron Jones is out there, you absolutely got to grab him.
I have $32 left. How much of it should I spend for Aaron Jones?
It sounds like you're going to need some of that money down the stretch, too. So,
by the way, DJ Moore is also available in that league this week. That is a weird it's a weird league, man.
DJ Moore is available in the 10-team leagues that I'm into. Okay. He's just been kind of somebody who, let's face it, he's not getting the touches that we wanted from him.
Yep.
But at the same time, no, I think, $30-some left. I would maybe do half of that.
Oh, boy.
If you have that feeling that you're not getting rid of him ever down the stretch, that's what makes that league a little bit unique.
It's a weird league, dude. It's just a really, really weird league. All right, we got more clarity that Bam Knight is the guy in Arizona. I feel like a lot of times people, because I saw you wrote in your write-up that you were surprised how many leagues he was still available in. I feel like a lot of times people just rank by projected points, who they might pick up. And because he didn't play last week, you're not going to see him pop up on projected points. But with Michael Carter gone, it's clear this is Bam Knight's job.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What you said there is 100% true. To be honest, I picked him up in one league this past week because he was on a bye, and I knew that Benson was going to be at least one more game. So it's one of those things. Well, why not? Take a flyer on him, especially with teams on a bye. We know Benson's out at least one more week. They have the Cowboys up next. We know how lackluster that defense has been this year too. So Bam Knight's definitely somebody that if he's out there, he's not just somebody to, maybe hold at the end of the bench this week. He's definitely somebody you could start. Again, and not long-term. Benson could be back next week. It could be we might have to see another couple weeks or so without Benson. So why he's so widely available is kind of blowing my mind. And then I do expect now with the news that Michael Carter got released, which was a little bit surprising, to be honest. I do think that is going to make people want to go out and grab him this week because it was a little bit of a share the past couple weeks, but I do think at least for this game, it should be all Bam Knight.
How do we talk about R.J. Harvey? Again, someone who I don't think is available a lot, but might be in a couple of leagues. And on top of that, I think a lot of people are I still think it's J.K. Dobbins' job. Is R.J. Harvey playable after a big game, or do you still have to wait on that?
He's somebody who's flex-worthy right now. I think if you're in a situation where you need him to flex, you can play him. But it is still Dobbins' job. He's still got, I think, more than double the touches that Harvey did. The only difference being that Harvey found the end zone 3 times as opposed to Dobbins did not. So absolutely, if for some reason he's available, you absolutely got to grab him. But he's somebody that you're holding on to. And the kind of the note that I made in the piece that I put up today is a lot of what we thought were going to be backups, or if you followed the 0 RB strategy in the draft process. This week, let me just tell you some guys who were finished as, let's say, RB2s or better. So you mentioned Harvey. Vidal was one of them. Tyjae Spears, Isaiah Davis, Ollie Gordon, Woody Mark, Sean Tucker, and Emmanuel Wilson. All finished as RB2. So I keep, this is that time of the year. You mentioned somebody like a DJ Moore. Do you really need DJ Moore to be your 4th, 5th receiver? Again, depends on your leagues. But, I would much rather have somebody like a Harvey, like a Vidal, or even an Ollie Gordon, say in the event there is an injury, you have one of those guys as opposed to DJ Moore. You're probably never going to start him the rest of the way unless you truly banged up a wide receiver. So this is that time of the year where it is valuable to get handcuffed running backs. And that's just a perfect example of it. All those guys this past week to finish as RB2.
Would you be starting would you be starting Harvey over Woody Marks or DJ Moore?
Not over Woody Marks. Over DJ Moore, yes.
Okay.
But not over Woody Marks. I think Woody Marks, we're kind of seeing now slowly phasing Chubb out, more looks from Marks. They made the announcement this week. I don't know what's going on with Joe Mixon. I don't even know if the Texans know what's going on there with him. So Marks was, if you had him, early on in the season, he's definitely a guy you can put in a flex and you just feel pretty confident about it because he's not only getting looks on the ground, but we kind of knew coming out of college that he was a pretty good pass catcher as well.
In one league, I'm down to basically playing waiver wire tight end at this point.
Most people are.
Yeah, well, Kate Otten was fine for this week, but unfortunately he's on a bye. So I'm back to the drawing board. Who would you pick up? Obviously, I'm not fabbing. Jonnu, Dalton Schultz, or Theo Johnson or Chigakonkwo?
If those are your 4 options, I'm probably leaning towards Theo Johnson. I was going to mention either him or Mason Taylor if one of those 2 guys is available, and you need a guy. They got 6 targets.
I previously gave up on Mason Taylor. Hey!
We could do that with a lot of tight ends. Let's put it that way. There's, they'll be great for you one week, and then they'll be all free for the next week, and then, you drop that guy, and then, of course, he pops off. So that's just kind of how the tight end position has been all season long. Let's face it was National Tight End Day this past weekend, and, Tucker Kraft had a good game, and Dallas Goedert had 2 touchdowns. Well, let's face it, other than that, it wasn't really a good weekend for a lot of tight ends. Jake Ferguson went into the weekend as tight end 1 and put up a big, fat goose egg. So tight end continues to be the most infuriating position in fantasy football.
Did you want to get in, Griffin?
Tyjae Spears. How hard should we be going after him where it feels like do you think this could potentially be like a shift in him getting more touches than Pollard? How if he's available, how hard do you go after Spears?
Spears is one of those guys you definitely want to roster. I would say somewhere between 10 to 15% of your fab because you're right. I do think we're going to slowly see this fade into where Pollard is going to get less touches. Spears definitely looks like the player right now with more gas in the tank. And let's face it, it's kind of hard to trust any Titans right now. But at the same time, again, running backs are a dime a dozen. So you do definitely want to add Spears on your team. And again, if you're truly desperate and need a flex guy, I could see you starting both. But I'm really trying to avoid that if I could.
Is there another Titan that you do trust, Chimere Dike? Who is he, and why and why should he be added?
That's more because they're without Calvin Ridley. Now, even when Ridley was in the lineup, they weren't doing a whole lot, and DK has had moments here or there. Again, situation where it's hard. I even put that on there. It's hard to trust any Titans right now, just with how hit or miss that offense is. I would add him again if you really need to end the bench guy. He's not much better than DJ Moore. He is getting more looks than DJ Moore, but he's more of an end of bench guy that. Again, in our deeper leagues where you need a guy like this past weekend, I'm playing, I played Josh Downs and Troy Franklin. Shamir Dike
worked out okay
there.
for you, by the way.
Yes, it did. I was going to actually break that out. It actually worked out perfectly. Both guys found the end zone. But at the same time, you're not going to get that lucky all the time. To be honest, of all those guys there, Franklin is the guy to go target if he's out there. I do think it's starting to become a 50-50 split when it comes in terms of targets between him and Cortland Sutton. He is the 5th in red zone targets on the year, so that connection with Bo Nix is definitely there. So if Troy Franklin is out there, he's absolutely the wide receiver to go after this week.
Why is Samaje Perine someone that everybody's talking about? I didn't even see him on your list.
I think he's just kind of one of those situations where he got in the end or found the end zone. But we know that Joe Flacco likes to check it down to his running backs. We've seen it even now. Chase Brown all of a sudden is becoming fantasy relevant, and I made a note today. If there's somebody I'm trying to buy low on, it's Chase Brown. I'm trying to add him now before I think he's really going to get hot down the stretch. But I'm not really, Perine is one of those things where he is the pass-catching guy. He gets a couple plays here and there. But let's say if something were to happen to Chase Brown, I think we're going to see Perine play the same role and maybe a little bit more of Taj Brooks get in there and get some looks. So, like I said before, you want backup running backs, but at the same time, Perine's one of those guys who's going to be more pass-catching dependent and then, running or touchdown dependent like we saw this past week. But there's other guys I'd rather have over Perine. Let's just put it that way. We've seen this movie before, and he always just seems to, again, one of those guys when you start him, doesn't do well, and then, when you're sitting on the bench or on waiver wires, he has these kind of freak games here and there.
Anything? Go ahead.
Back to receiver. Christian Watson's back, so now I'm back to just kind of I have no idea what to think of the Green Bay Packers wide receivers because I had Romeo Doubs and felt good about him, and I think he's still got a couple red zone targets, but I don't know what to do with the Packers now.
I'm still, of all those guys, I still think it's Dobbs you want to own. You said it. He's still the guy that's getting the looks in the red zone. He's still getting the most playing time out of all the receivers there. So if there is one guy to own receiver-wise there, I do think it's Dobbs. Maybe in a couple of weeks we're talking about Christian Watson. I know there's been a lot of hype around him for a couple of years now. But let's face it, they also had a lot of hype about Matthew Golden. And then if you still have him on your fantasy team, he's more than droppable at this stage. So, no, Dobbs is, I think, the guy to own right now.
Anything else we need to be monitoring this week, Joe Serpico?
Do we need to grab Booty?
Is he still available? How's he available?
If he's available, yes.
He's putting up numbers,
just because he's getting touched.
Right.
Yes, he's getting touchdowns, but the truth is he's not getting a lot of targets, though. So that's my only concern with him. He's been wide receiver 4, wide receiver 20, wide receiver 9 the past 3 weeks. May is definitely looking his way when they get down in the red zone, but the actual target numbers are not, promising. So is Booty a guy you're hoping for to maybe find the end zone one more time? Yes, but he's kind of hard to rely on because of the lack of targets.
Anything else?
We saw the first, I wouldn't say it's a major trade, but we saw at least one trade yesterday. Now, it has nothing to do with fantasy football, but I do think in the next week or so, we're going to see a lot more of this. I've been talking for a couple of weeks now about Isaiah Davis. Devin Neal all of a sudden becomes a guy. Even some of these receiver situations kind of keep an eye on. So some leagues, Rashid Shaheed might be available for you, probably 10-team leagues. If, let's say, Chris Olave some reason gets dealt, Shaheed becomes a bigger factor. Same thing goes with, let's say, Jacoby Myers gets dealt. Trey Tucker, who, by the way, is a quiet wide receiver 27 right now. He's somebody who's going to get a lot more looks. So definitely keep an eye on what's going on with the trade deadline in the upcoming weeks. And then while I'm talking about it, A.J. Brown's not getting traded. Let's kill that argument right now.
I feel like you're also trying to speak that into existence. I feel like there's a little bit of something going on there. All right.
Touche.
All right, at Joe Serp is how you follow him. PressBoxOnline.com is where you see all of his stuff. Joe Serpico, always appreciate you, pal. We'll talk to you again next Tuesday, all right?
Absolutely, guys. Good luck this week.
PressBox Fantasy Football Analyst Joe Serpico, brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Bye week coming up this Sunday. No better place to be. The atmosphere for watching games inside Sports and Social is unparalleled. Giant 100-foot media wall, all the games. Everybody's living and dying by them. Steps away from the FanDuel Sportsbook, the great food and drinks and game day specials inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel. We didn't even talk about the fact there was a football game last night. Obviously, that was in part because of the baseball game being the top story from last evening.
Main event, if you will.
And also because the football game stunk.
God, so I was down, or I was up 15.
Oh, I completely forgot to put McLaurin in my lineup in the league, and so you won.
Well, would it matter?
Oh, yeah, it absolutely would.
Oh, how much did Terry score?
He had the touchdown early. He had
that's
the,
right. Yeah, I know he got hurt, so I guess I was just thinking.
He had the
didn't.
big play on the sideline for like 30 yards. If I had put McLaurin in, I would have won.
Yeah, suck it, loser.
Yeah, man. It's what it is.
Should have played Xavier Hutchinson and Oh, wait, no, I'm looking at somebody else's team.
I did not. I don't own Xavier Hutchinson, so no.
Joe has Xavier Hutchinson. Why was I looking at Joe's score?
I don't know why you were looking at Joe's
No, well, in my other league, I was up by 15, and he had Rashee Rice, so I was like, I don't think I have any shot here. But and then he did nothing in the first half.
Right, so you're feeling
good.
So
I was like, oh my God, are we? And then he just went off in the second half.
It was only third place last night. Really poor showing for Team Norfolk in trivia last evening. There was only one sports question.
I think you still would have lost because Terry scored 14 and
JCM
Worthy
did Dick.
Oh, you're saying you would have
played? I would have played him over
Terry
JCM
and Worthy. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would have done.
Okay, Mr. Hindsight.
I swear to God, like the game started and I looked over. It's fun. I was like, oh, and I said it out loud to everybody. They're like, shh. And they're like, what? And I'm like, because you're not allowed to talk. We're all in the same fantasy league, so we always said we're not allowed to talk about our other fantasy leagues there.
Oh.
Right? Like, there's only one fantasy league that matters. And truth be told, this is the one that matters the least.
It does. But I needed this win, though.
There you go. You got it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This was one of the questions last night. It was either or. Name either the preseason #1 men's basketball team or the preseason #1 women's basketball team. And you were going to get a bonus point if you gave them both. You get your wager if you got one.
Oh, man.
You gave a bonus point. You got a bonus point if you gave both.
Oh, God. I think I know it's not Kansas. I know Kansas is like lower. Like they might even be in the top 25 for the men's side. I almost want to say Houston, but I don't think they're the preseason one. Like I think they're top 5. Would they just go right back to Florida? Or the women's? Did you guys get it right?
We got I'm not.
All right, I'll just.
You get to write down. You get to write down 2 answers. What 2 answers would you give?
I would go South Carolina for the women and Houston for the men.
You would have gotten no points. No points. Now, what I decided to do, because I was pretty sure.
Is Purdue #1?
Purdue is #1. Purdue is #1. So I was in this weird place where I couldn't decide. Florida was really like, why wouldn't it be Florida?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't it be? But I didn't think it was, so I didn't want to do it. So what I decided was, I'm pretty sure it's UConn on the women's side, but there might be South Carolina. So I decided to just give UConn and South Carolina as our answers. Get our wager. Like, we wagered 4 points on that.
Oh, you don't have to specify what. You just write 2 teams.
2 teams, exactly right. So that's what I decided to do, and then live with the fact that we weren't going to get the bonus. Like, I know I'm getting the wager.
Sure.
So I'll take that, and if we don't get the bonus, life goes on. So that's what we did.
So it's UConn on the women's side?
It was UConn on the women's side. Dang. So we got our wager. That was all that mattered. We didn't get the bonus, and I was between Florida and Houston, so I would not have gotten Purdue. So I'm glad we didn't attempt on the men's side. I'm glad we did. We did it the way that we did. So that was the appropriate way to wager last night. But it's not our night. We had 45 points at the half. We were rolling, and then
like the Ravens in the second half here.
100%, just came falling apart. Speaking of college basketball, Maryland played their exhibition against UMBC last night. They won by 1 point.
Yeah, well, Win's a win. That's what we were just talking about with Curt Casali.
Win's a win.
Win.
Win's a win. Now, I get it. Like, maybe there's things that they did because it was an exhibition that they wouldn't have done if it had been a real game. Like, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case or not. But maybe. Remember, this was supposed to be a regular season game, and Buzz Williams canceled it, and maybe you can understand why Buzz Williams canceled that. And this is always a very difficult thing because we always want the local teams to play each other, but the inherent nature of when you do that, it is the other team's Super Bowl, whereas for your team, it's the least interested they are in a game. And if you play a Grambling or an Alcorn State or a Canisius, somebody like that, they don't really care all that much. Like, yes, they're going to be up because Maryland's a bigger name. They're not going to be up for the game the way that a UMBC or a, Loyola, somebody like that would be because it's more local, a Howard, something like that. So that's always something that college basketball coaches think about. And we all think that they should be playing all the local teams, play them. But they're like, yeah, we don't want to lose those games. We don't want to run the risk of, once upon a time, American beat Maryland in College Park. Once upon a time, Morgan State, Reggie Holmes' team, beat Maryland in College Park.
So you're saying we will absolutely
Actually, you go back even before that. There was a Fang Mitchell-Coppin team that beat Maryland in College Park.
We will never get, what was the scenes a couple years ago where UVA went to JMU and...
Well, that's. I think JMU was opening a new building at the time, and I think there was something a little bit more unique about that, where they were willing to do like a buy type of situation because of that. No, now look, Maryland's playing Coppin State in Baltimore on Monday.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're refusing to play local teams. It is interesting. I think didn't we hear that it was supposed to be Towson originally, and Buzz Williams said, nah, we ain't doing that. And as
they want to grind out a 45-44 win.
As Pat Scarry told us, he had trouble scheduling a lot of teams this year based on the fact that they're good. And it makes it tough. Teams don't want to sign up to play Towson if they don't have to. And then for Buzz Williams, it makes all the sense in the world. You got a local rival that's got a veteran team and has been really good. Not doing that. So I don't know. It doesn't matter. It was an exhibition. It doesn't matter. And I know that Maryland's also very banged up at the moment. Pharrell Payne apparently hit the game-winning three.
He apparently
he apparently hit the winning three. But yikes. Not an inspiring start.
Do we know all who's hurt? I know there's someone just posted a picture of all the guys that were wearing boots.
Oh, did they? Who posted that?
Jeff Ehrman shared one, but I didn't see the name. I mean, I'm sure he wrote Miles Rice, David Coit, and Solomon Washington, and Isaiah Watts.
One of them, I want to say Miles Rice. One of them is definitely out for the season.
Passmore, Rickey's Passmore
is
out for the season.
But then maybe one of them is also, we know, out for a long time too.
Do some quick reading, I guess, and we'll see.
It's not good. It's where we're at. All right. But other than that, all's well. We'll come back in. We will. Hang on a second. Yeah, Rakeem Passmore was in September. There was.
It looks like
Solomon Washington sprained ankle that could keep him out from the start of the upcoming season.
And it looks like the Coit and Watts injuries are unspecific, but it doesn't seem like they're long term.
Okay.
So.
All right. Very good. Well, it's not very good. That's the opposite of very good, but I just got to move things along. We'll come back in. We'll get a tidbit and two-bit to wind things down for a Tuesday edition. Oh, yeah, we got to do 5 plays. We'll do 5 plays, tidbit, and two-bit. Glenn Clark Radio.
Game day hits different with Live Casino's Big Plays, Big Pays hot seats. Head to Sports and Social on select Sundays and Mondays in October. We'll draw 10 hot seat winners every hour. When the home team scores, we'll double the prize pool. Plus, we'll give away $50 Sports and Social gift cards with every touchdown. Watch and win at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Looking for Baltimore's premier waterfront dining experience? Head to Nick's Fish House, located in the Baltimore Peninsula. Enjoy crabs all year long, plus happy hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6. Planning a celebration? From rehearsal dinners to corporate crab feasts, Nick's is the spot to make it unforgettable. And the fun doesn't stop there. Live music fills the air every Thursday through Sunday. Check out the full lineup at nicksfishhouse.com. Nick's, it's where Baltimore comes to eat, drink, and play by the water.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Tuesday edition of the program. It's time for 5 plays, the 5 plays that told the story, and unquestionably the most difficult week for 5 plays because number 1 was easy. Everything else, I think, there is room for debate, but we'll see how Griffin screwed up this one. 5 Plays is brought to you by the print issue of PressBox, which is available for free at your neighborhood High's Dairy Store. You see Jim Smith, athletic director at the University of Maryland. Great cover story from Don Marcus. A lot of college hoops in there as we are less than a week away from the start of the college basketball season. Go pick that up at your Baltimore area High's Dairy Store. You can read it all for free at PressBoxOnline.com. Number 5 for me. I couldn't decide which of the intentional groundings because one of them would have been my number 6. It was on the Bears' third drive after the Ravens had taken a 7-6 lead. It felt like that really allowed them to consolidate the break, if you will. But the other one I thought was more important, which was with 26 seconds left in the second quarter, the Bears are on the 39-yard line, and they're already at least look, if they at least like have the right ball out there, like they had to kick that last field goal without a K ball because they couldn't stop the clock. They had to do the fire drill,
the hurricane kick,
right,
or
to
get
the kicker out there. And he still looked like he had made it. I was like, holy crap.
Was he like a yard short?
Yeah, it ended up just short. So if they get any forward yardage, they still have a timeout left. The truth is they still have enough time to try to take a shot toward the end zone from where they were with 26 seconds and a timeout. So this definitely ends up being the difference in 3 points. You know, it's possible it's the difference in more points than that there before the half. So the second one, which Kyle Van Noy had the pressure up the middle, and Marlon Humphrey was coming from the outside.
I think Hamilton was coming as well.
But yeah, that intentional grounding was the number 5 for me.
Yeah, I was close between those two as well. That one's on that's the one that made my list as well. I have it a couple slots higher, just because of the fact, if the Bears get points before the half, I think the fact that he missed the field goal just made it feel like that even that much bigger to me. But yeah, I mean, just even though that first intentional grounding felt like more of a skill play, where it was like this was just an incredible play by Hamilton, and it felt like that one should have been a sack. This one was the bigger one, coming, forcing the Bears to have to use that final timeout and forcing them to have to run the hurricane kick and eventually miss the kick and come away with no points before half. So that was definitely maybe we could argue the bigger play was Caleb Williams staying in bounds the play right before on the long scramble. Or 2 plays before, whatever it was. Just the fact that they.
I mean, I don't think he knew he was going to be in this situation.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But yes, that one's on my list. I have it at number 3. My number 5 is the third down sack from Mike Green on the opening drive. I think this was a huge play for the defense, just for the mental of the defense. They had been off for 2 weeks and they did good against the Rams, but everyone still knew that this was the first 6 weeks were a Swiss cheese.
We did good. We did good.
We're a Swiss cheese of defense. And they were able to finally stand here and get a stop. So maybe I could put the tackle for loss from Travis Jones on the play before, but this was the
no, it's
Mike Green
this.
sack.
It's higher on my list. It's definitely this one.
Yeah, I mean, forcing them to get to hold the 3 points was huge, just for the mentality of the defense. So that's my number 5.
My number 4 was one that I had kind of forgotten about, but after the Ravens fell behind 6-0 and obviously had done nothing on their first drive, they get going on the second drive, and then 2 killer penalties. Isaiah Likely gets a 15-yard penalty. They get some of that yardage back, and then Ronnie Stanley gets a false start penalty. And all of a sudden, they're faced with 2nd and 22, and instead of being well into Chicago territory and into scoring range, they're backed up to the 44-yard line. And it could have been either one of the plays. Like, I could have picked the one afterwards where they converted on third down and kept the drive alive, but I picked the first one, which was the 15-yard pass to Rashad Bateman that was over to the left. And in that moment, it became critical. They had to get points. They had to get something that got them momentum, and that everything was going the wrong way. And they had done a little bit on that drive, but if they end up pissing it away, and from 2nd and 22, I was almost assuming they were going to piss it away. I don't know what this football game becomes. And so that's a huge moment to me, that they at least, at that play alone, got them into field goal range.
This is the Bateman catch.
This is the Bateman catch. That got them to the 29. That got them into field goal range. It made it points.
Because this was also one where it was like inches off the ground.
That he plucked it off the ground, 100%.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's good. I did forget about that one. That was a good one. I went with the punt to pin them inside the 5 right before the interception. This came right after after that 4th and 5 debacle, that they take the delay of game back up 5 yards, and I mean, yeah, you're thinking Jordan Stout's probably just going to boot this one into the end zone, or I don't know how he's going to screw this up, but Jordan Stout, I still don't have a ton of confidence, and he made an excellent punt. Tylan Wallace obviously credit as well, getting down there to down it, and you put the pressure on the Bears. The next play they commit a false start, and Caleb Williams is thrown from his own end zone, and it leads directly to a turnover, which is going to be higher on the list, obviously. But the punt is my number 4.
It's a weird thing where, like, that's a play that every punter, you have to be able to do that. Like, if you're punting from your 44-yard line, and again, it should have been the 39-yard line, like, that, you damn well better be able to do this. But yes, they did execute it. I think it's a worthy consideration. My number 3 is the Mike Green sack. And, again, it goes back to what happens if this is a 2-score game early on. Like, the fact that they were able to keep it to a 1-score game so they can get momentum back in one drive. I don't know what this team becomes if they trail by 2 scores. So this was the first drive. This wouldn't have been. But either one of them could have been a touchdown. I decided this one was the one. So it's number 3 for me.
Yeah, my number 3 was that second intentional grounding right before halftime. Yeah.
My number 2, Bo brought it up earlier, the best moment of the game for Tyler Huntley. It's the back shoulder throw to DeAndre Hopkins on 3rd and 7.
Getting away with one.
Yeah, I don't think that's an egregious.
Is it just because J.J. Watt was making such a
I think
about it?
Like he went a little over the top about it. Like, Could it be called? Yes. Do I think that was? I don't think it was egregious. Like,
I mean, the hands were in the face, man. I don't know. I guess they were on.
Yeah, I think that for the most part, that's still a hand fighting. Like, I don't know. Obviously we'd feel differently about it
number 2 as well.
if we were in Chicago, but it's the throw. It's the calling a play like that with that quarterback and saying we're going to trust that you're going to put the ball on the spot. And
do they call this play if Cooper rushes?
I don't think there's a chance in hell. And frankly, I don't know how good I felt about the fact they did it with Tyler Huntley.
Oh, yeah,
but he delivered.
Finally got 1-on-1, and
it was a one-score game, and the momentum was going the wrong way again after the other play that we're going to get to. They needed that badly. There was still more than 3 minutes left in the game. There was still a real chance there for this to be screwed up. So, yeah, that's my number 2. And you said it's your number 2, and obviously the interception is number 1 for both of us. So those are 5 plays. We'll get them up at GlennClarkRadio.com. All right, let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour, which is back it was yesterday. So if you missed the guys talking about Craig Albernaz, the new Orioles manager, you can find that right now by going to Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. As always, Stan's shows are brought to you by the Costas Inn and the all-new Costas Inn, now open in Timonium.
A couple that I missed from the weekend. Justin Fields had been 0-26 when his opponent scored more than 20 points in his career. They obviously gave up 38 to the Bengals, but they found a way to win. 1-26 now, Justin Fields.
How about that?
When the opposing team scores 20.
But Bo Nix just had a massive game, but I have to bench him for Caleb Williams because Caleb Williams is facing the Bears this week. The Bengals, yes.
Who's Bo Nix playing?
I don't care. It's not playing the Bengals.
Okay. Well, this is where I'm in a weird spot.
I think he's playing the
because
Texans.
I have Drake May, and Drake May's been great, obviously, and I think they play Denver this week. I forget. It's a tougher matchup for Drake May, but it seems like Jane Daniels won't be back anyway, so I think I don't think I have a decision to make. But I am going to do once Jane Daniels is back, and if Terry's still out, I don't know what to do because Jane Daniels has a really high floor, but the ceiling for Drake May's been better. I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
When he comes back. Flacco, from that same game, Flacco becomes the oldest player to score a touchdown in Bengals history because he had a rushing score. He surpassed 36-year-old Terrell Owens, who scored a touchdown, who had the previous record for oldest Bengal.
I kind of like black out that Terrell Owens was ever. But they were together. It was like that was the point. It was the Ocho Cinco show or something like that.
Owen, I don't know.
Like they were together with the Bengals. I just sort of black out that Terrell Owens was ever a Bengal.
Now the World Series ones I have. Yoshinobu Yamamoto became the second pitcher to throw his first.
So he was going to go in.
Yeah, he was.
If they hadn't
scored in the bottom of the 18th. Yeah, that was. Yamamoto became the second pitcher to throw his first 2 career complete games in the postseason. He joined. This guy did it in the NLCS and the World Series in 2003.
Josh Beckett?
Josh Beckett, yes. Josh Beckett threw his first 2 career complete games also in the postseason.
Okay.
Just like
Yamamoto. He won the Marlins the World Series in 2003.
I know. I mean, I feel like if I almost wanted Yamamoto to have to go in because then Yamamoto has to be the MVP, I think. And
why do you care about that?
Just because I want to see a pitcher win the MVP, I guess. I don't know.
That is a weird thing to can be concerned with.
Freddie Freeman, first player in MLB history to have 2 walk-offs, walk-off homers in the World Series.
Not in the same World Series.
No, not in the same
just
World Series.
Ever
but, yeah,
in a World Series.
World Series walk-off home runs. Ohtani reached base 9 times. The only
and he got tagged in the dick. Don't forget that part.
The only other, and he was. I mean, I think they're talking about him coming in to pitch at some point if they had to. He's joined. 3 other guys have reached base 9 times in a game.
Like any game ever.
Game.
How in the F would I know that?
These all happen. The other 3 games also all happen to be 18-inning games.
Well,
exactly.
I mean, that would make sense. How are you going to get 9 plate appearances?
I don't know. Maybe you scored 40 runs.
But again, I don't know 18 inning. I don't have a
1922.
Oh, sure. All crazy legs. Conti.
Unfortunately, he's got kind of a boring name. Max Carey.
Max Carey.
1932.
Oh, that's Crazy Legs.
Johnny Burnett.
Oh.
And then in 1942.
Crazy Legs?
No, not Crazy Legs, unfortunately. Stan Hack.
What a hack.
And now Shohei Ohtani joins that list of, but Shohei the only one to do it in the postseason. So yeah, and then I think impressive. Do the Dodgers need to stop having Brad Paisley perform the national anthem?
Why would they do that?
He sung the national anthem last night. Just because I know that you hate extra inning games.
Oh, did he also sing the national anthem before
World
that?
Series Game 3, 2025, 18-inning game.
Yeah.
Last night, he sung the national anthem. Game 1 last year, that game it didn't go 18 innings. It went 10 innings, but they did go to extras. He sung, and then the 18-inning game in 2018. Game 3 of the 2018 World Series, Brad Paisley sung that.
That is pretty crazy.
And then in 2017, he also had a national anthem for Game 2 of the World Series, and that one went 11 innings.
I dare you to name a Brad Paisley song.
The national anthem?
Yeah, there you go. You got it. You're right.
I think that was everything. I guess that was it. That was all I had.
All right. Very good. Very good. Here's what's coming up tonight, totally tubular-wise. They're going to try to play another baseball game tonight. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Will Smith caught 18 innings. I assume he's catching again tonight. I guess.
Shohei Ohtani is pitching tonight against Shane Bieber. This feels like the end of the World Series to me. Like, this feels like there's no way the Blue Jays can come back from it. But in part, that's because I didn't think the Blue Jays could win to begin with. So, like, I don't know, whatever. But Bieber and Ohtani.
Yeah, like if the Blue Jays had won, I think we still would have been like, this is a 50-50 series, right?
Yes, 100%. In fact, I think you would have given them a slight edge because of it being a marathon game.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't think you're coming back from that. It's on Fox. It's not at 8 o'clock, but they've somehow worked in cahoots with Major League Baseball to list the start time at 8 o'clock, despite the fact that the games are. I'm actually genuinely pissed about this. Like, tell me what time the game is starting, and it's 8:11 or something like that. Very much annoys me. Everything that's the only. The Capitals play tonight 8:30 against the Stars.
It's
on
the
ESPN.
Frozen Frenzy or whatever. I think it's like it's the stagger start.
Oh
times.
yeah,
everyone's playing, right?
Well, they're just doing a triple header tonight on ESPN.
Oh, okay.
ESPN's doing Penguins Flyers at 6, Capital Stars at 8:30, and Kings Sharks at 11.
I think everyone else is playing like every 30 minutes or whatever.
If you say so. And the Wizards host the Sixers at 7 on Monumental. Also, NBC's. I did not know this is what NBC's doing with these Tuesday night network games. The Eastern and Central time zones get Knicks Bucks at 8 o'clock on NBC, and then the Clippers Warriors game, that's what the Western time zones get at 8 o'clock, or 7 o'clock, I guess, if you're in the Pacific. And then the other game is on Peacock. So, like, for the West Coast, the early game's on Peacock. For the East Coast, the late game's on Peacock. That's how they're doing their NBA coverage.
So the games that start
last week, they just did a
Pacific.
doubleheader to start the season. This is apparently what they're going to be doing moving forward.
Gotcha.
So, it's regular season NBA basketball. There's no chance in hell I'm going to be watching it. And also, imagine putting a regular season NBA game on a network up against the World Series. Tonight might have been a good night for both games to be on Peacock, but whatever. Man.
You don't want the what's their studio crew? I can't remember.
I don't remember. They've got actual.
Is it Steve Nash or is he Prime?
I think he's Prime. Yeah, I think he's Prime. Anyway, that's what we got. Non-sports.
A couple finales. Season 1 finale of Chad Powers, and Season 5 finale of Only Murders in the Building.
All right. I have not started watching Season 5 yet.
I'm way behind on Only Murders. I think I might be a couple seasons back.
Okay. Very good.
Paramount Plus has Don't Date Brandon docuseries about this weird stalker guy.
Oh, good.
That, like, could be maybe a book club. I don't think there's any murder. I don't think.
We don't need it to be murder. Just needs to be malfeasance.
Follows a modern romance that spiraled into a dangerous game of deception.
We're so emotionally drained after watching The Perfect Neighbor that Rita begged us to do something that's not nearly that. She was like, "Can we do like
a nature documentary?"
No, she wanted to do the Montreal Expos documentary for the next book club. I was like, "All right, I get." I guess there's probably some malfeasance involved with that, but that's
who murdered the Montreal.
Yeah, that's really on the low end of what we're supposed to be doing for book club. But I gave it a pass because, again, if you watch The Perfect Neighbor, you understand it is just draining, man. Like, you are exhausted after watching it.
I'm trying to see if there's like any other good docs or something later this week. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe there's one. But Don't Date Brandon on Paramount Plus.
Right.
Maybe something for you to check out.
Very good. Thanks today to Curt Casali, who told us all about Craig Albernaz. Thanks also to Joe Serpico, to Bo Smolka. We'll get that up in the greatest hits section of the
Liam Hemsworth and Reese Witherspoon will be on Fallon and Seth Meyers
tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Tomorrow, is Drew coming by?
Drew. Drew.
That's unfortunate. Yeah. And then we're also going to preview the Dolphins. We're going to kill two birds with one stone. I've been catching up with 1996 Baltimore Ravens this year. Leroy Horde was on that team for like 5 minutes. Like 5 minutes.
Like more than 5 minutes.
He was in 1990. It wasn't much more than 5 minutes. He was on the 96 Ravens. But he's also a radio host on WQAM in Miami, so he's going to join us to preview the Dolphins. So we're going to do both things at once. How about that? Look at us. And stuff and things. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel. Game Day Men's Health, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com, the Costa Sin, Nick's Fish House, 1-800-GAMBLER, helpmygamblingproblem.org. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Tuesday evening. I don't know. I still want the Blue Jays to win, but, it's whatever. Duke sucks.